I never thought I would go to Germany. In high school, I was sort of a history nerd. I took AP US History and even picked up an elective course specifically dedicated to World War II. I was pretty good with it. I mean, I got consistent B+ grades, but I always had this disconnect from the material, sort of a distance. My 11th grade history teacher actually gave out superlatives to everyone in the class at the end of the year. Some of them were basically just best in class or most likely to succeed. He gave me too cool for school. I really wish I had a picture of it. He printed this out and everything. But it's not that I didn't care about the work. I knew the information in my brain, but it was sort of just locked away in a compartment with other school stuff like the mitochondria or the algebraic method. I don't think that I was too cool for school, but I wasn't showing the sort of passion that he was looking for. About a year later, and I graduated, and life happens. You study in your field, and you're not so immersed in history in the way that you are in high school. Of course, I still watched, like, Saving Private Ryan and Inglourious Basterds and the occasional war documentary and all that. But broadly speaking, I wasn't thinking about it. That started to change in my early 20s. I became best friends with someone who was actually from Germany. He grew up in Heidelberg on an American military base, and for the first time in my life, the idea of Germany as like an actual place was standing right in front of me. Add in the fact that I love international sports like soccer or the Olympics, and Germany is always near the top of the world, whether it's in the medal count, especially with the Winter Olympics, or winning the actual World Cup like they did back in 2014. Germany became more prominent and much more so in the front of my mind. So when I became a frequent traveler a few years later, Berlin was added to the bucket list. It was December and I had just come from Luxembourg and from Belgium, and I was very excited about the German holiday markets. Germany is world famous for its holiday/Christmas markets. Even if you've never been, you've seen the pictures. Bright lights, lots of beer and Mullwein, I mean, you name it. They had all of that in Berlin, and I partook. I had incredible food, took really cute pictures in the market, I ate some pretzels, and I drank warm drinks to my heart's content. Outside the markets, the street food was some of the best I've ever had anywhere. I'm actually going to talk about that in detail in a future video, so make sure you are subscribed so that you don't miss it. And I had the chance to explore the city and see the sights. But it didn't take long for me to realize every site, every attraction, even down to the souvenirs you buy in the souvenir shops, are all relics and reminders of Germany's dark and traumatic history. It's pretty harrowing, to say the least. I don't know what I was expecting. This is a city that was totally destroyed at the end of World War II after being the center of Hitler's Nazi regime. Even afterwards, it was divided and militarized all the way until the Berlin Wall fell in 1989, which was just a few years before I was born. The Reichstag building, which is the German parliament building, was redesigned and reopened back in 1999. It was really cool to walk through, and it's definitely something I recommend doing if you do happen to go to Berlin. It's TripAdvisor's #1 attraction. It does require advance clearance from the government, but it's pretty easy to get as long as you request it in advance. As I walked around and I was taking in the panorama of the city and the River Spree, it started to dawn on me the reality that for a short period of time, this building was used by the Nazi regime. That feeling was only compounded as I took part in other activities around Berlin. Some things, such as the typography of terror, are physically within the former Reich security building, or even things as simple as visiting Checkpoint Charlie serve to specifically remind us of the terrible things that took place in that city and in that country. And of course, going to the Berlin Wall Memorial has the same effect. You are actively remembering all the people who died trying to escape from the east side to the west side. I mean, even the souvenirs. I have to admit that I bought one, and I feel kind of weird about it. The shops in Berlin sell pieces of the Berlin Wall as souvenirs. You can buy chunks of painted concrete in basically whatever size you want and bring it home with you anywhere in the world forever. On my first night after taking in the sights of Berlin, I got back to my hotel room and I wasn't filming anything. I sat down at my desk and it hit me. Out of nowhere, all at once. The years of study that I had put in surrounding World War II and the Holocaust, all those war movies and documentaries. In that moment, they became real. I was carrying a piece of the Berlin Wall in my backpack. I stood in the actual building where Hitler and Himmler gave out orders to the Gestapo. I ugly cried for a good 10 minutes. Honestly, I did. But you know what? This is not my way of telling you that you shouldn't visit Berlin, or anywhere in Germany for that matter. This video is very different from my other videos, right? I'm usually very happy-go-lucky and, telling you all the amazing things that have happened in my travels, including, my favorite pizza slice or my favorite, croissant or whatever. But sometimes the good things that happen to you from travel are more about personal growth and connection. For me, visiting Germany gave me a much deeper connection to history. I mean, the place is the epicenter of the worst thing that has ever happened on Earth. So it's not just German history, right? It's not European history, it's not US history, it's world history. And I felt it, all at once. Look, admittedly, yeah, this is probably the weirdest travel recommendation video you've ever watched, but I do suggest that at some point, you go there too.